Archibalds, 2 Archibalds, and an Alan Archibald.
Hello and welcome to day 6 of our 12 Days of Archie series, where today we're going to look back on a 5-goal demolition of St Mirren in 2017.
And an Alan Archibald. On the 5th day of Christmas, when true or came to me, 5 Archibalds, 4 Archibalds, 3 Archibalds, 2 Archibalds, and an Alan Archibald. On the 6th day of Christmas, when true love came to me, 6 Archibalds, 5 Archibalds, 4 Archibalds, 3 Archibalds, 2 Archibalds, and an Alan.
Yeah, the St Mirren League Cup game, I remember that. I sat in the North Stand that day. I went with my friends. Unusual, I usually sit in the Jackie Osmond stand. But yeah, good decision sitting in the North Stand that day because 4 of the goals were down that end. I remember we were 4-0 up at half time. I haven't seen us do that very often.
Having secured top 6 the season before, Liam Lindsay departed for Barnsley, but apart from that we kept the core of the squad and were looking good on paper going into the 17-18 season, as Rhys Jenkins explained.
So for this game we lined up with a 4-2-3-1. We had Thomas Cairney in goals, we had Elliott, Devine, Barton and Booth across the back four. In front of them we had Osman and Banzo sitting, with Spittal, Erskine, Lawless in front of them, and then up front we had the number 9, Dills. Out of those guys, the guys that played the most football over the course of that season were probably Thomas Cairney, Devine, Barton, Spittal, Erskine, Lawless and Doolan.
Thistle roared out of the traps and scored very early in this game.
So our first goal of the day was provided by Chris Doolan in the 12th minute. It was vintage Doolan. The move starts with a throw in there, down their right hand side. The ball's played in by Banzo, where it then bounds around a bunch of defenders and Thistle players and falls kindly for Dools, who is bearing down on their 6-yard box before clinically finishing to the left of the goalkeeper. What I loved about this goal was just it was a typical Doolan. It epitomises everything he was about. Just calmness in the box and the ability to slot it past the keeper when he got the chance to.
The second and third goals weren't far behind as Stevie Lawless netted a brace.
So our second goal of the game came in the 23rd minute by Stephen Lawless. So this goal's got a lot of neat interplay. It comes from a corner from Spittal, who plays it into Lawless. He plays it back to Spittal, and then Spittal finds Lawless on the left with some space. Lawless then plays it into Erskine, who then plays him through into the box, where Lawless then fires it into the bottom right hand corner past the goalkeeper. I thought this goal was a good demonstration of some of the good individual quality we had at the time with sort of Lawless, Spittal and Erskine, where they could play some nice one-touch football, create a goal scoring opportunity. And those goals were the best sort of football we played over the Matt Archie years, the sort of short pass and interplay. Well, that's what sticks in my memory anyway, especially the Stephen O'Donnell one that was mentioned in one of the last episodes. Just 10 minutes later in the 33rd minute, Lawless got his brace. This one comes with a nice counter-attack where Erskine picks it up just inside the opposition half and then glides past a couple of guys, plays it out wide to Callum Booth, who then cuts it back to Stevie Lawless. He then sweeps it across into the far right corner of the goal. Absolutely brilliant strike to finish off a lovely counter-attack.
I remember that game. My friend is a St Mirren fan, and we'd like chat to each other beforehand and all that. And I texted him when I think it went to like 3-0. How are you enjoying this? And he just replied, I've been in the pub for 5 minutes. Just that, that way where you just immediately have written the game off. But it also had the Blair Spittal free kick.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is the one that really sticks in my mind because it's not very often that as a Partick Thistle fan you see one of your players strike a free kick from about 30 yards out straight into the top corner. This is definitely one of my favourite Thistle goals recent years. Although saying that wouldn't be hard. Spittal hits with plenty of power in the top left corner, the keeper just can't get across it. Even the way it hit the net was satisfying. It was just such a clean strike.
Yeah. I mean, that Spittal goes. I mean, it's up there for one of the best goals I've seen at Firhill, to be honest. Spittal was brilliant. I mean, he's always had that. I mean, even this season we've seen that. He's always been good at set pieces, and he's always been a very technical player.
Oh, it was an incredible free kick. It was, and ever since then, every time I see Spittal come up to take a free kick, I'm like, he's going to do it again. He's going to relive.
He scored 3 free kicks for us, to be fair. He scored that one. He scored one against Rangers, and he scored one against Motherwell. So he has scored a couple for us.
But I just, it was such majesty of that kick. It was just unbelievable, and it was just the cherry on top of the cake, and that we absolutely ran over St Mirren in that game.
Down to 10 men as well for second half.
Exactly, but it was just that way where, you put in a dominant performance and then to tap it off with this absolute screamer of a free kick on the TV as well. I think that's
Yeah,
one
we
of
actually won a TV game, I know.
our TV record is absolutely atrocious. I think
We've only won one since then. It was that Connor's Nomad game.
which
on
was
that Welsh channel.
yeah,
S4W or something like that.
S4C, yeah.
S4C, that's it.
Yeah, we always shudder when we hear that a game has been picked for telly because we're so bad at it. But yeah, that game was the one bright light of the telly.
After a tremendous free kick in the first half, Blair Spittal made it 5 early on in the second half, receiving a superb pass from Chris Erskine.
So we're 58 minutes in, down to 10 men. We'll probably just hang in there, get the win, keep it sensible. But nah, we do the unexpected. So Barton heads out into Doolan. Doolan takes a touch and passes out to Squiddy, who knocks it past the defender. Squiddy's running down the wing. He hits a perfectly weighted ball across for Spittal on the 18-yard line, who hits it first time in the bottom corner.
Kieran Ashton remembers a fateful encounter from after the game, which landed him in some hot water on the following Monday.
I remember I came out the ground and I came back. I seen one of my teachers for school. Like she was a St Mirren fan. So I think we seen him like getting in the ground and we came out and we seen him. We went in, we were going like 5-0, and then she gave me a stern talking to when I went back to school. But aye, and I think one of my pals is a St Mirren fan as well, so we got it up him as well. But they went to win that league. They went to win the league that season, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we swapped places with them. But for that game, like we were like, we could really make a thingy of them ourselves. We could this season. We could really kick on. We could try and at least challenge for Europe and whatever.
If you look at the end of the season, both teams had very contrasting seasons. Because St Mirren ended up winning the championship, and we ended up getting relegated for the playoffs. You would never have predicted that, I don't think, if someone looked at that score at the start of the season. So it's a funny game, that one, looking back on it. It's funny if you look at the bigger picture regarding that game.
Earlier this year, James Cairney spoke to Alan Archibald for the Evening Times about what exactly went wrong this season.
The whole season was disgusting, if I'm being honest. It was just from start to finish. I think we got to top six, and Joe, I spoke to Danny Lennon, I spoke to a couple of other managers. Danny got to the final with St Mirren. He won the League Cup final, and I always remember him saying that I don't think they hardly won a game after that. The total, and he said that a lot of the lads struggled to deal with it, and so I was very, very aware of that. But we had a good squad, and you think, we've got enough, and we added a couple to it. The big thing was we lost Liam Lindsay, and then we got injury after injury that season. I hated saying it because it just sounds like it's an excuse, but we had about probably 8 or 9 key injuries, and then we added to the squad. And even the football we were playing, even when we did win games, it wasn't great to watch. We beat St Johnstone out there, and it was fucking horrible. I just remember thinking, it's not great. Can we hang in? The more thing is hang in, and to be fair, you go for having a squad that you can rely on and trust, and then you find some of them, you get to top six, and a few players thought they're better than what they were, and they think they can live their life a certain way. And I was probably a wee bit too loyal to them, if I'm being really, really honest. But in terms of, sorry, people say, you're too loyal to them, but you can't always get rid of players. We've not got the budget to ship 10 out and 10 in, it doesn't work like that. So that's where we were. And to be fair, we done well to get to the playoffs, to be honest. And it was goal difference, I think. It was goal difference that got us to the playoffs. It ended up goal difference. I think the game I look at in that season was the Motherwell game out there, when we lost the late goal, set play, the boy Bowman scores, and that would have been the difference. I think that would have dragged Hamilton down there. And they took it in their last game. So, it was a sore one, but I mean, we were playing Livingston, and Livingston had, we didn't have a real, at that time, togetherness, a fighting spirit. And I had that with John Lambie's team that came up for 2 years, and you win back-to-back promotions, you've got that wee bit about you. And they were everything we weren't, to be honest with you. And we knew that, and you know what, I think deep down some of the players knew that going into the game as well. Some didn't fancy the battle. So they definitely, I know that, they didn't fancy that battle. But the 4 or 5 of them, some of them still did. There were good pros in there.
But I think the thing with that game is that, I mean, that is the last big win we've had, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I can even tell you the last time we won by not even 5 goals, but like less than that, like 4-3, you know.
Mhm.
So it's weird because now looking back, you think, oh, that wasn't. Those days were good, weren't they? When they could actually score a fucking goal. But I think that I've never really. I struggle to really get into the League Cup group stages, to be honest with you, with Thistle. And I know that we generally have a good record, because I think this season was the first time we'd not made out the group stages, if I'm right.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to get excited about Thistle in the Cups, just purely because we always end up getting Celtic. And then that's it, and it's done. Like, it's always Tynecastle or Pittodrie or Ibrox or Parkhead. It's never at home to County. It's never, not even a favourable draw, but just a winnable draw. It's always impossible, So, like, obviously, like, it's great to get these big wins and it's really morale boosting. But in the grand scheme of things, and this may not make a very popular thing to say, but like, I would much rather see Thistle, get scrape a win in the league and get the 3 points than trounce somebody like St Mirren in the cup, because I'm very much, I don't know, I find it hard to believe. I find it difficult that I'd never really truly believe in the heart of hearts that this are going to go on a proper cup run, and so I'm kind of always just kind of like, well, yeah, it's good, but well, does it all matter in the end anyway? So I know it's really pessimistic and depressing, but it's like, even when you get games like that where we do play so well, I mean that's probably the best we've played in the last few years. But I say, if it's just like, if it's for nothing, I find it difficult to attach meaning to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah, because it's just that stumbling block where it doesn't matter what you do, what incredible results you get, you're going to get Celtic at Parkhead, and just not have to. You just won't win it. But I'm quite glad we didn't. I mean, yeah, I would probably agree. Like this year, like as much as I am like Jim Cairney in the number 22 levels of obsession with the idea of us winning a cup in 2021. I I know that we would have just got Celtic, and well, maybe not because because it was they get knocked out. But like, yeah, with that, it's just a case of this season. It would have been, you'd have played at Parkhead, nobody would have been there. You couldn't go, you couldn't watch it. We wouldn't get any money for it because nobody went to the game, and you'll get beat 5-0. Like, do you know what I mean? Or even worse, you win and you can't be there, and you're like sitting in your like, and we'd be recording this in 5 years going, where were you when we beat Celtic in the Cup? I was in my house and drinking 2 cans of Tennent's because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Like, I do kind of feel that the fact the competition was in the trash from a little bit, and again maybe that's harsh. And I do kind of also feel that just the stage of the season where we're at as well. Like, I mean, because the Betfred Cup's so early, you can kind of catch teams unawares like that where they're not quite up to full speed, or they're not quite sure of the tactics or whatever. They're not just if one team does their preparation and turns up and everyone doesn't, you can get results like that. When, like, well, obviously they're really fun and enjoyable at the time. They're not necessarily representative of the team at that stage, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, well, obviously, like, I feel like I think I'm being a real negative Nancy now, because, like, I'd say it was a 5-0 Thistle win. I should be like waxing lyrical about it, but for me, it's not quite the same, just because there wasn't that same sort of tangible benefit from it, and obviously that time you don't know who you're going to get in the cup, and it's very exciting. But I just thought that League Cup games, particularly in the group stages, I struggle to really care about them, to be honest. I sort of see them more as not glorified friendlies, but yeah, they're there to give your players a chance to play competitive games, get up to speed, and hopefully get a couple of wins under their belts before the season begins. If you progress, brilliant. If not, fine. But as a Thistle fan, that's the way I've always seen the League Cup since it was restructured, because realistically, particularly at the moment, right, we're in third division, right, we're not going to go deep, realistically, as it proved this season. But I think unless you're sort of higher end championship or in the Premiership, it's hard to believe that you're actually going to I find it really difficult to get caught up in the idea of like, oh yeah, we're going to go on this run, it's going to be great. I mean, and maybe it's just the previous runs we have been on have ended in painful defeats. Like, as I say, I've twice watched Thistle exit the Scottish Cup at the quarterfinals replay stage at Tynecastle, and both times I was utterly convinced we were going to make it through to the semis, and I was really excited and looking forward to the idea of going out to Hampden, and to get it all snatched away from me. So obviously it sucks. But then as a result of that, I'm kind of like, yeah, the early League Cup games, I find it hard to get enthused about them. As a Thistle fan, just because the Cups are so unkind to us constantly, I never get too emotionally invested in results one way or the other, because I know the Cups have this habit of just giving it absolutely dreadful draws, and then that's it. We never really seem to get much of a break, and as a result of that, the Cups have always been down my pecking order of like priorities as a Thistle fan. You know what I mean?
I'm generally the with that. Like this year, I was the opposite. Was it right? We need to win the League Cup. That's a given. Like,
that's a given. League Cup.
like League Cup scoosh it. I mean, Celtic will get knocked out by some shite Hawks. Rangers will get knocked out by some shite. It'll be fine. It'll all work out, and it has all worked out. Just apart from the fact that we are not there. But yeah, like I don't know. Like even like this season, I was like, I'd take League One again for another season if we could get a good cup run, a game at Hampden.
St Mirren were quite a tidy outfit, and I thought this could be like that was our only real competition in that game. Obviously, we tried to hit Livingston in that, but we were like this could be a tough game. We went to horse on 5-0, and then like it was a bit of a false omen, because we thought we could like from that St Mirren game we could go on to get Europe in that, and obviously found out later on we didn't, but the complete opposite happened. But that game, like the Blair Spittal free kick, I think Stevie Lawless got a brace, and Blair Spittal got a brace as well. But like we were on fire that game. That's the way I thought we were going to play after the split. Obviously we didn't. But it was a good game nonetheless.
Despite our drastic slide since this game, James Cairney is going to leave us with one rousing soundbite which will hopefully put the hope back into Thistle fans' hearts.
What I'll point out is just remember that next season, so the 2021-22 League Cup final will take place in 2021.
Yes, it will.
So we've not missed the boat yet. We've still got this season's Cup and then next season's League Cup. And then, yeah, that's it. So that's our chances to fulfil the prophecy.
Thank you for joining us on day 6 of our 12 Days of Archie series. We'll be back tomorrow with another highlight of Archie's time at the club. This episode was narrated by Matt Greer and edited by David Forrest, with contributions from David Forrest, James Cairney, Jamie McDonald, Kieran Ashton, Rhys Jenkins and Alan Archibald, with thanks to the club for allowing us to use the Alan Archibald interview. As always, stay safe and wear a mask.